Deep within the human genetic code, there is a remnant of an ancient memory. It is a shared nightmare, hardwired into populations across the globe. Across continents, humanity has described a remarkably consistent apex predator, a horned, winged reptile with impenetrable scales. These exact anatomical details appear consistently in ancient civilizations separated by thousands of miles of uncrossable oceans. This collective vision materialized millennia before early empires could establish trade routes or develop the written languages required to exchange stories. If these cultures had absolutely no contact with one another, how did they independently engineer the exact same mythological beast? The fossil record proves that Earth is highly capable of producing massive, terrifying predators. Over millions of years, evolution engineered biological giants, from the crushing jaw of the T-Rex to the Quetzalcoatlus, a flying reptile as tall as a modern giraffe. Vertebrate evolution has a strict anatomical rule. Every bird, mammal, and reptile descends from a common four-limbed ancestor. A reptile with 4 legs and 2 wings requires 6 limbs. Nature lacks the genetic blueprint for that structure. Then there is the issue of fire. We have to look closely at whether biology can actually produce a living flamethrower. The closest nature gets is the microscopic bombardier beetle, which defends itself by mixing hydrogen peroxide and hydroquinone inside its abdomen to blast predators with boiling chemicals. Scaling that volatile chemical reaction up to the size of a giant reptile introduces the strict laws of thermodynamics. A creature generating that much internal heat would literally cook itself alive. Because evolutionary anatomy and basic physics prohibit this creature from existing in reality, the dragon had to be constructed from other materials entirely. For early human populations, the earth beneath their feet was a graveyard of unexplainable giants. When ancient civilizations dug primitive wells or carved out foundations for settlements, they routinely struck the massive, fossilized bones of long-extinct species. Imagine an isolated group of early humans unearthing the heavy, beaked skull of a protoceratops or a ribcage large enough to walk through. Lacking the context of deep geological time, our ancestors interpreted these remains as evidence of a current, living threat. They bridged the gap between these massive skeletons and their own reality by adding features from known animals, constructing a complete monster out of fragments of the unknown. Paleontology gave early humans the physical architecture for monsters, but the highly specific, terrifying traits of the dragon were pulled from the darkest corners of human psychology. To find the true origin, we have to look past the dirt and examine the evolutionary hardwiring inside the primate brain. Anthropologists studying modern primates, like the vervet monkey, have identified behavioral patterns that offered a direct window into the daily reality of our own ancestors. These wild primates rely on a survival system consisting of 3 distinct vocal alarm calls, each one mapped to a specific category of predator. The first call signals a threat from below, the serpent hiding in the tall grass. The second warns of death from above, the eagle striking from the sky. The final alarm triggers when a large, crouching feline stalks them through the dense brush. For millions of years, this specific triad of predators dictated primate survival, burning a genetic terror of these animals deep into our evolutionary lineage. As the brains of early hominids grew more complex, those distinct alarm calls evolved, but the underlying instinct remained permanently embedded in the subconscious. The human mind began to amalgamate these 3 separate primal terrors into a single concept of danger. The anatomy of the dragon reflects this synthesis. It possesses the impenetrable scales of the serpent, the vast wings of the eagle, and the razor-sharp claws of the apex feline. This subconscious fusion produced a composite creature that represented the sum of those ancient predatory threats. The dragon exists as a physical manifestation of the evolutionary trauma humanity endured during its earliest stages of development. It is the internal record of our struggle to survive the wild. Disconnected cultures described the same beast because they were all running the same evolutionary software. The dragon is a biological legacy, the permanent record of our ancestors' fight to survive.